Most of us have long heard that seeds are nutritional gold, small bundles of fiber, healthy fats, minerals, and nutrients. For many people in their 30s and 40s, that advice holds true. But once we pass 60, our bodies change, digestion slows, swallowing reflexes weaken, mineral absorption declines, and even mild inflammation can morph into serious health risks. In this video, I'm not relying on anecdotal clinic stories. Instead, I'm drawing on peer-reviewed medical reports, published case studies, and respected nutrition science. You'll hear about a real case where a healthy adult swallowed a tablespoon of dry chia seeds, chased it with water, and ended up with a life-threatening esophageal blockage. Doctors had to use a baby-size endoscope to break apart a gel-like mass of swollen seeds stuck in his throat. That incident earned global media attention and a warning from gastroenterologists worldwide. At the same time, we'll explore research showing which seeds, when prepared carefully and consumed in moderation, can still support heart health, digestion, joints, and longevity for older adults. If you're over 60 or caring for someone who is, this could make a big difference. After watching, leave a comment below and tell me which seeds you eat regularly and whether you've ever felt unexpected bloating, joint pain, or digestive discomfort afterward. We read every comment, and I'll personally reply with tips.
Sunflower seeds and high omega-6 loads. Theoretical risk for seniors. Sunflower seeds are everywhere. Tossed on salads, baked into bars, sprinkled over breakfast cereals. For many, they're considered a healthy snack. The problem isn't always immediate or dramatic. It's cumulative. Seeds like sunflower are very high in omega-6 fatty acids. In youth, your body can often handle a higher omega-6 to omega-3 ratio without obvious trouble. But in older adults, research suggests that high omega-6 load without a balancing amount of omega-3s can push the body toward a pro-inflammatory state. Chronic inflammation in seniors is associated with joint pain, vascular stiffness, elevated risk of cardiovascular disease, and slower recovery. While I was unable to locate a large-scale published case study explicitly linking daily sunflower seed consumption in seniors to a medical event, a general caution arises from nutritional research. High omega-6 diets, especially when unbalanced with omega-3, may raise inflammatory markers and contribute indirectly to age-related ailments. In short, sunflower seeds are not bad per se, but they do demand balance. Seniors relying heavily on them without other anti-inflammatory foods may unintentionally feed low-grade systemic inflammation over time. Cottonseed oil. Processed seed oils. Hidden risk, lack of transparency. Unlike whole seeds, oils extracted from seeds, especially cottonseed oil, have become a staple in processed foods because of their low cost and neutral flavor. But cottonseed oil brings with it a set of concerns that are particularly relevant for older adults. Firstly, oils like cottonseed are often highly processed, raising the likelihood of oxidation and formation of harmful byproducts, especially when heated repeatedly. Oxidized oils contribute to oxidative stress, a key driver of cell damage, inflammation, and accelerated vascular aging. For older adults whose antioxidant defenses are weaker, this stress may be more harmful. Secondly, while direct toxicity from cottonseed in humans is difficult to prove, seed oils in general are under scrutiny. Some nutrition experts argue that over-reliance on omega-6 heavy oils, cottonseed, sunflower, etc., without adequate omega-3 intake may tilt the lipid balance toward inflammation. Thus, the real danger here is not dramatic, like choking. It's gradual, often silent and invisible. For seniors eating a lot of processed foods or healthy snacks, check the ingredient list. If you see cottonseed oil, it might be time to reconsider.
White sesame seeds and phytates, a hidden threat to mineral absorption. White sesame seeds, the kind often used for tahini, sprinkled on breads, buns, or crackers, might seem harmless. Yet there's a subtle but real issue. They contain high levels of phytic acid, phytates. Phytates bind to minerals like calcium, magnesium, and zinc, making them less available for absorption. In younger, healthy individuals with robust digestion, this binding may not produce noticeable harm. There's usually enough mineral intake and efficient absorption. But in older adults, where gastric acid and digestive efficiency often decline, this mineral binding effect can matter. Reduced absorption of critical minerals can lead to weaker bones, slower healing, muscle cramps, or reduced immune resilience. For seniors who already face a higher risk of osteoporosis, mineral deficiency, and slower recovery from illness or injury, white sesame seeds, consumed frequently over years, may contribute to hidden nutritional strain. Because this effect is more subtle and gradual, it's harder to find dramatic cases. But nutrition researchers and geriatric dietitians often caution older individuals to moderate high phytate foods or ensure mineral-rich meals elsewhere in their diet.
Chia seeds. Documented real-life risk for choking and esophageal blockage. If there's one seed with a clearly documented real risk, especially when eaten improperly, it's chia. As tiny and innocent-looking as chia seeds are, they have a remarkable ability to absorb liquid. Once soaked in water or contacted by saliva or liquids in the throat, they swell significantly, absorbing up to 27 times their dry weight. That property becomes dangerous if they are swallowed dry or without enough liquid in people with slower swallowing reflexes, narrow or aged esophaguses, or other swallowing difficulties. In fact, a well-documented case involved a 39-year-old man who swallowed a tablespoon of dry chia seeds followed by water, and they expanded into a gel-like mass that completely blocked his esophagus. He couldn't swallow saliva. Traditional tools failed to remove it. Eventually, doctors had to use a neonatal gastroscope to mechanically push small pieces into his stomach before the entire obstruction could be relieved. Medical experts have since cautioned that chia seeds should never be eaten dry, especially by anyone with a history of throat problems, swallowing difficulties, or esophageal narrowing. Beyond that single dramatic case, there are also warnings about digestive discomfort, bloating, gas, or constipation if chia is added abruptly or in large amounts, especially in people with sensitive guts or slower digestion, common issues in older age. Because of that history, many dietitians advise that chia seeds be pre-soaked for at least 10 to 15 minutes or longer before consumption, and consumed in moderation with plenty of water, especially for older adults or anyone with swallowing or digestive issues. So yes, chia seeds can be healthy, but the way you consume them matters tremendously. For seniors whose digestion, chewing, or swallowing may not be at its peak, the risk is real. Now that we've covered seeds with real or plausible risks, let's turn to seeds and seed mixtures that have documented benefits, some even in older populations, and may be worthy of inclusion for seniors when used thoughtfully and in balance. Seed mixtures, sesame, pumpkin, and flax, evidence of anti-inflammatory and metabolic benefits. There's a clinical study that followed 30 patients, some on hemodialysis, who added a milled seed mixture, sesame, pumpkin, and flax, to their regular diets. After 12 weeks, researchers observed significant decreases in serum triglyceride levels, improved fatty acid profiles, reduced insulin resistance, and, importantly, reduced inflammatory markers, including TNF-alpha, IL-6, and high-sensitivity CRP. This suggests that combining seeds in moderate processed forms, milled or ground,
can deliver benefits without many of the risks tied to whole seeds eaten improperly. For seniors, many of whom struggle with inflammation, lipid abnormalities, or impaired glucose regulation, this combination may offer metabolic and cardiovascular support in a gentle, food-based way. Of course, as with any intervention, moderation matters. As that study used a measured, controlled dose, it would be wise to follow similar moderation and ensure overall dietary balance. Moderation is key. Evidence-based caution even for beneficial seeds. Even seeds considered beneficial, such as flax, pumpkin, hemp, and even sesame, carry potential downsides if overused or misused. For example, a recent review on super seeds for older adults warned that excessive intake or certain ways of processing may cause digestive discomfort, mineral binding, interference with certain medications or conditions, or just plain overwhelm a sensitive aging digestive system. That same review offers a useful reminder. What works at age 40 may not suit age 70. As we age, digestion, absorption, hydration, and metabolic balance all shift. That's why any seed, good or bad, should be treated as part of a broader, personalized diet strategy. Using real evidence, not just scare stories or made-up anecdotes, changes the conversation. It allows us to see seed consumption not as good versus bad, but as smart versus careless. If you are over 60, love seeds, but also care about longevity, mobility, heart health, and digestive ease, treat seeds like seasoning, not staples. Let them complement a varied, nutrient-rich diet. Pay attention to how your body responds. Be especially cautious with seeds like chia that expand, or with heavy consumption of omega-6 rich seeds.